Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We started with a best of 5, went down to a best of 3, and now it all comes down to this one last game. All tied up. This is what we like to see in a winter bracket finals.
I'm enjoying myself. I hope the viewers are
Hopefully
as well.
not too much, but it's been quite good. It's been great Dota today.
I just had to settle down. I probably shouldn't be drinking more Red Bull because this is just like bringing the energy up even more. I don't need the Red Bull to bring the energy here.
No, these games have been really hype.
Yeah.
Both teams playing at their absolute max. Obviously, a lot on the line here. Really want to fight to make it to the summit. Now, again, this is winter bracket, so the loser of this will have to face off against Cloud9, waiting for them in the lower bracket finals. Another best of 5 coming up tomorrow, so there will be a chance at redemption, and then after that, there will be a chance at the redemption vote. So for these two teams, still far from out of it, but it's nice to be the first European team that's qualified, and you can just rest easy and watch everybody else fight over that second slot.
And with the LAN, not entirely sure, but maybe seeding could matter whether you get the first or the second slot going into the LAN finals.
A fair point as well. So
we got a draft.
We do, and it's a little bit different. Finally, the bloody troll is banned out, and the one hero that's been banned out in all of the other games except this one, the Night Stalker. First picked by Asus.Polar. What are we thinking here? We've seen this hero be on the rise. Cloud9, the team that's been after Vision, have really utilized him quite well. I don't know.
Vision mattered. We saw last game, really the key pick was the Zeus. The Zeus ulti, which... No, well, the Zeus ulti is great because it not only gives Vision, but it also cancels out the Blink Daggers. But Night Stalker kind of can do a similar thing, and less so with the canceling of Blink Daggers, although you do get that flying vision. So often you can see heroes coming in well before they see you. And, well, just being that kind of tanky generally plays that 4-position support if you're talking about Cloud9. We'll see if Asus.Polar have him around there, or if it's going to be... With the Axe pickup, it doesn't look like it's going to be that off-lane Night Stalker that some teams also run, so probably a 4-position hero.
Yeah. Night Stalker is very annoying, but I just don't put him on that same tier as Troll for the reason that you talked about in the last game. That Troll is one of few carries that can really close out a game. You take a bad fight, you take 2 bad fights, and then all of a sudden, like we saw in that game before, game 4 rather, Troll is huge and just insurmountable. Night Stalker is just, he's annoying, he's scary, he can help your carries get there, but by himself, he's just not nearly as potent. I think Secret are probably happy to have the Troll banned out, even though they had to give away the Night Stalker. Bristleback Shadow Fiend, a great opener for them on Dire's side. Some great synergy there with minus armor and the huge AoE physical the Troll or the Bristleback does. God, I've said Troll so many times over the past 5 hours. It's just like ingrained in my vocabulary.
I'm looking at these pics. I'm like just seeing 10 Troll Warlord images.
Between
like
getting trolled by Twitch chat and casting Troll, I'm trolled out. It's too much. Witch Doctor, we'll also see him for the first time this series here, coming in game number 5. Picked up by Asus.Polar, but another great support. Lion from Secret, no big surprise there.
Yeah, so looking to put together that big kind of scary team fight 5-man lineup that Polar liked to run. Witch Doctor with the ulti, the cast fits in very nicely there, and also lane stage wise can actually be one of the better heroes as far as zoning out Bristleback with some points in Maledict. So we'll see if Polar have a better lane stage. I think the Night Stalker kind of playing that 4-position support can offer a bit more there, so maybe something that where for the first game we won't see Polar just fall behind from the get-go. But Secret's early game is just phenomenal.
So Secret thinking pretty hard about this. Ah, there she is. We couldn't have a Secret game without a Queen of Pain. She still wasn't banned out. This series, we saw her in that first picking couplet. All 4 games for Secret, and now she'll be 4th picked.
I think
5 games in a row.
I think this will be an S4 safe lane Queen of Pain. Arteezy going mid on the SF.
And then off lane Zai on the Bristle.
This is more what they were doing at DAC when they had a lot of success. They were picking the Queen of Pain, not quite as much as they've been picking it today. Is this 5 games of Queen of Pain or 4?
This is game 5. She's been in every single one.
So she's the neutral Warlord, although not winning every game. Yeah, Secret's been picking it 5 games in a row. But I think safe lane, good against the Axe as far as zoning him out. I'm going to force Zyori to probably rotate to the jungle very early on. And Night Stalker often kind of looks to support that offlane just with his tankiness, contest those top runes, and that's another hero that can kind of be dealt with somewhat by the Shadow Striker Queen of Pain. Can go both ways though, because both Axe and Night Stalker have ways of, when you get a blink, you can lock Queen of Pain in place. You get the Night Stalker with the silence early on, so they do have ways of killing off the Queen of Pain. But laning wise, I mean, this is partly why Secret, game after game, are getting that big edge in the laning stage, because Queen of Pain is a laning stage dominator.
So what do Asus.Polar take here, GoDz?
Let's see. They
need a support, and they'll need their other core.
I think they have this. I think Witch Doctor and Night Stalker, they're 2 support.
You think Night Stalker is definitely on the 4 here?
Like fairly, like leaning like 75-80%.
I mean, they could always do like a safe lane Axe with a Night Stalker in the off lane.
Yeah.
They could do the safe lane Night Stalker. I don't think they will. I've only seen a couple of teams do that. I know Loda's done it a few times, but it's very risky. If it backfires at all, if he loses that momentum, it's not so hot.
Do they go for a Jug? Get like a Magnus Jug last 2 picks? You can do like the Magnus again for G and have a Jug as your safe lane farm. I think Jug's a pretty good pick here.
Yeah, sure.
Other less conventional ones is the Slack, which is still in the pool. I would have said Zeus for the mid lane. It works. I mean, you combine the vision of the Night Stalker with the Zeus and cancel out some of those blink daggers. You're in a lot of trouble if you're a secret. But I think
we've seen. I was just gonna say Luna. Damn it! I wish I said that a moment before. So we saw Cloud9 do this yesterday, where you just become the masters of the night. Night Stalker to reduce the other team's vision, and Luna to give you that beautiful nighttime vision. It's good on paper. I think that idea is really strong, but Luna has trouble closing out games, I think. Great carry once she gets 6 slotted, but she's got one of those power curves kind of like Zeus, where she's amazing early on with the burst damage, kind of falls off a little bit in the mid-game, then comes surging back once those glaives are trucking through your base.
Yep.
But she may struggle a little bit. Very squishy hero in the mid-game, and I don't know. What do you think here?
I think it's okay. I don't think it's
solid.
Yeah, I think it could have been the Juggernaut's the only real other option that stands out to me that could have worked. It seems to be the generally more safer pick that most teams are going for, but Asus.Polar obviously have something a bit different in mind with the Luna. I think Jug just as a flash farmer is a bit better with that Mask of Madness, Phase, Quelling Blade, Jazz, and maybe would have been it would have been the safer pick, I feel.
Smart final bans, though. Secret, take out that prized Magnus.
So what does G go here? That's really the big question, and there's bans every single ban has been a G hero. The Troll, Sniper, Lina, Magnus, the Zeus kind of is a mid lane hero for a lot of the time. So, and then the SF and Quap, 2 other G heroes have been taken by Secret themselves. So mid laners are kind of limited. Could be a Puck, but that doesn't really dominate the mid lane against an SF by any means. If you want to go for the push with the Luna, you can go old school with like a Dragon Knight, but whoa, that's a support Beastmaster. That's a puppy Beastmaster, I believe.
Is it? There's a lot of flexibility here. I've seen Zy play Bristleback, Beastmaster, and Queen of Pain in the offlane. So he could really take any of those. It could be a position for Quap as well.
I'm a fan of the position for Quap. I've never seen Secret do it, but when I've seen it run by, it was Tongfu who did it during DAC, and I think there's one team that's done it since.
If you've got a pocket strat, this is the game to do it, man. This is what it all comes down to.
Storm.
And they take the Storm.
Okay, that's, I completely missed that Storm was still there. But that's, really the only G hero that was left in the pool. So that and the Puck to some extent.
Yeah. I don't think Puck would have been great. I think they need something with a little more late game in mind here. Not that Puck's bad in the late game, but Storm, I think, undoubtedly better. Definitely scales more with items. Okay. So it will be the Puppy Beastmaster. Looks like you had it right. Arteezy will take the Shadow Fiend. So now the question is, what's going on with the Quap and the Bristle? Probably S4 Quap mid, I think, is where it has to be. Yep, and Zy takes the.
I think S4 is going safe lane. The
rather that's what I
may change with the Storm pickup if they want to put S4 there as more of a lane dominator, but I think S4 can do better as far as pressuring the Axe, and Arteezy at least breaks even mid lane. There's no real. I guess FNG and the Night Stalker could pose some pressure onto Arteezy, but I think it should be an okay lane for SF, at least until Storm hits 6.
Yep. Okay, well, we'll load in here our final game of the Summit 3. You're up for today, folks. America is just about to get started. You'll have to head over to BTS 2 if that's what you're trying to find. For those of you just joining us here, this is the final ace match for the winner bracket finals, Secret versus Asus.Polar. The winner of this will be qualifying for the Summit. We'll go through some rosters quickly here. Illidan, he takes the Luna to the safe lane. Lil, he'll be here on the Witch Doctor, joining his Luna buddy. Sadoy on the Axe will be headed off lane, probably in the jungle more than the off lane, but the off laner nonetheless. G mid on the Storm Spear, and that puts FNG on the Night Stalker, supporting away.
Okay, so we'll see how things unravel here. It looks like Secret going to be looking to secure the bottom bounty rune. Arteezy and Zy both down there, but this is a bounty rune which it looks like Asus.Polar also have their eyes on, with G headed down there as well as the rest of the Polar squad. S4 can always cover the top
This will
one.
be quite the skirmish.
It does look like S4 is going mid, though. Based on items and Arteezy having the Ring of Protection, Arteezy will be going safe lane.
Okay, yeah, the double pull tango. Yeah, I think you're right. Especially with that early Ring of Protection there. So, I guess making sure, like you said, Shadow Fiend a little more susceptible mid lane, Queen of Pain a bit more flexible. S4 should do fine against the Storm Spirit. And now you know Arteezy will have a good early game. Zai really wanted that rune, but backs out. He gets hit by the cask. Big stun coming out from Kuro, and it looks like that'll be just enough to keep the Bristleback alive. Earth Spike on 3, making the difference there. Closely played.
Nice guy.
And 1 bounty rune for each mid laner. So G and S4 both going to have a little head start here.
And Zai already chewing through his salve for the offlane, so he's going to be somewhat HP regen limited down here, and Witch Doctor should be able to zone him out pretty well. Does have the first point in cast. Sometimes you see that level 1 Maledict come into play when you want to zone out a bit more, but went for the kill with the cask, and he can still poke and prod at Zai, who does have much less HP regen.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance we do see the Maledict build come into play here, though. Very good. Against the Bristleback. Probably one of the main reasons they picked up the Witch Doctor so early on, to be honest. First time we've seen him this series, I believe.
Yep.
So, off lane already abandoned by Asus.Polar. It's going to be free farm for Arteezy. Sidoi's learned his lesson throughout this series. And I'm just going to stack. I'm going to stay here, and I'm going to do what I can in the jungle. Because
kind of reminiscent of the old Polar offlaner Mag, who used to sometimes go level 1 jungle on. Even a hero like a Venomance, he's like...
Sometimes, he says. There was this window when Mag would just level 1 jungle every single game. Yep. For better or for worse, that was just his main squeeze.
It'd be like a dual lane with like a bad support, and he'd be like, I'm
in the jungle, guys. I got to prioritize my farm. It worked really well for like 2 weeks when people weren't ready for it. Like Venomancer, you don't expect level 1 jungle, but once people got suspicious to it, it's like, well, that's an easy roam. That's an easy kill. And we will put somebody in the off lane. Looks like FNG will actually be the one to rotate. So Asus.Polar opting for a slightly greedier setup with really a dedicated jungling Axe and now the off lane Night Stalker. So curious how this will end up working out.
Yeah. The nature of the Beastmaster, he's kind of a greedy 4-position hero too. He doesn't really pressure the lane, can't really gank. So you know Beastmaster is just going to be looking to leech XP, do pulls, farm the jungle, so you can get away with this if you're Polar. You're kind of trading your opponent having a greedy core for you running a greedy offlaner going straight into the jungle.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Kuro and FNG will battle it out for the top rune. Kuro will best him. Secures the bounty rune for himself after another well-timed Earth Spike. Down bottom, Axe finds an invisibility rune as he chews through a salve. I don't think he'll be able to do too much of this at only level 2 with no Berserker's Call.
G at mid, not having fun against the Queen of Pain, is 70 gold short of his bottle. Can't even use this pull tango he's just got, and doesn't have mana or HP. If he goes forward, S4's going in for the kill. This is where I think G got the bounty rune, was it?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
S4 and G both got that initial bounty rune.
Even so, it's just a slightly fast... FNG is in this mid lane just to secure G's bottle. This was like, he was near mid lane after getting the rune, and G's like, come and help me farm my bottle, because without it, S4 just crushes this mid lane.
Yeah. And it looks like that little rotation is enough to keep things leveled out. S4 does some bottle crowing himself, sends that slow-ass courier back with his empty bottle. Oh, man. It's just painful to see how slow these couriers are with those empty bottles. I like the change, but just feel for the couriers.
Well, G's going to be doing the same thing, I imagine. Oh, S4 does see the courier, but hits 3 minutes, an immediate upgrade.
There you go.
G can't really bottle up, though, during the Shadow Strike. At least not get... He won't get the full HP mana regen out of it, so... Pesky stuff.
Yes, sir. So both safe laners farming on point with each other. Illidan as well as Arteezy, about what you would expect, basically uncontested. Zai not able to do much to slow down the farm of the Luna. They will dive him here. Zai's been able to pick up a couple of last hits, probably just trying to zone him as far away from these creeps as possible. Looks like 3 range creeps. A big push into the tower will get Zai very close to level 4 and even allow him to do some harassment onto Illidan as he retreats and takes a tower shot. Turning out pretty well for the Bristleback, all things considered. Finds a few stray last hits there under the tower. You compare him to someone like the Axe, who's doing okay in the jungle, but not really farming too quickly. And nor is this Night Stalker, who's kind of been ping-ponging back and forth between top and mid.
Yeah, Sidoi's still working towards those Tranquil Boots. So FNG will do de-hawking here near the top rune here, but he's not going to be able to go in for the rune with the Kurobora. And Kuro actually going in on him. He has got... It does hit nighttime, so he gets a bit of a movement speed burst, but the Queen of Pain rotation.
There you go.
First blood, S4.
The power of the boar. That's slow, so easy to underestimate, but even at level 2, the poison does a 20% slow. Sets that whole thing up and makes it possible. S4 already dominating that mid lane, but now with a haste rune, his signature rune, of course, and a first blood. Pretty much everything the son of Magnus could ever want.
Top lane. rotating multiple TPs here. The Impale actually doesn't land on the TPing in Night Stalker there.
That's unfortunate. It was the delayed TP, so I just mistimed it there.
And another Hawk goes down, so Night Stalker finding these for the most part and just taking out some of that vision of Puppey.
A little extra bounty going his way. Certainly doesn't hurt.
Puppey's getting some decent jungle farm though. He's bottom of the net worth as far as the Dire team goes, but he's out farming both Radiant supports and getting close to that level 4. So it feels like, I mean, as per usual, Secret get the farm distribution much more evenly between their lineup, and then the Radiant side kind of prioritize 1 or 2 core heroes, being G as well as Illidan, while Zyori plays that more kind of initiator type role with a lot less farm.
Zai trying to press forward in the bottom, but will get zoned out as Lil comes back to the lane and just gives him the little poke. Witch Doctor doing the pretty standard build here, not trying to counter the Bristleback with the Maledict, just going level 2 cast, and here's your Voodoo Restoration at level 1. He'll need to use it as well. Choose through a salve as Zai does a surprising amount of damage, but no death occurs.
So Ring of Aklon Arteezy at top. Looks like he wants to be able to pressure this tier 1 tower as much as possible, since the Axe is just going to ditch the off lane. And
on bottom, Zai finding himself in a world of hurt. Nice rotation from FNG. Line will come down. Kuro needs to be a little careful here. There's a lot of heroes here. Sonic Wave from S4 connects on 3, finds the kill onto Illidan. It's a 1 for 2 so far, but the hasted up S4.
The S4 rune, the magic.
Yeah,
really is. Magic happens. He can blink into 4 heroes, get a kill, and get out with it.
What a Sonic Wave. I guess the Lion was bait there to make sure they all stick around. So I guess worth it. They get the kill on the Luna.
So it was a 2 for 1, but yeah, Bristle was already dead.
Yeah, it's a kill. If it's a kill on anyone else, maybe not quite as worth it, but to kill the prize to Luna, I think absolutely Secret will be okay there. So S4, worth his time to rotate down, and all the while, that's more space made for Arteezy to pressure the top tier 1 tower, and he does finish it off.
He actually gets the tower. And Illidan, considering he's working on a Midas rush, it's an even bigger kill to slow down that fast Midas from him. So we'll see G get some uncontested farm in the mid lane while the Queen of Pain was gone, but S4's back with an invis this time, and this lane is going to remain a struggle for your Storm Spirit.
My. Queen of Pain, one of the scarier heroes in the pool when she has complete rune control. So much flexibility, and when you get haste and viz, double damage, the kill potential is just through the roof, especially at this early stage when she's already so bursty. Okay, let's glance at the graphs here, see what things are saying. Secret, 2,500 gold, 500 XP.
Secret.
Yeah, like you said, I feel like at this window in every game, that's about what the graph looks like.
At the same time, considering this has been the last 4 games, I don't look at this and be like, oh, Secret in the lead. I feel like this is just generally the Asus.Polar. Wait till Zyori gets Blink Dagger.
But I would say one key difference here is the Luna being a little more momentum-based of a carry. Illidan's getting shut down a little bit more in this game than he has before, and going for that Midas first, that may open up this window for Secret to get pretty aggressive. What build does Arteezy look at here? Still haven't seen it yet. If it's the Yules, that kind of hits that best of both worlds where he can farm and also fight, while Luna is still just going to be desperately looking for spaces to hide and kill neutrals.
Yeah, the Yules Blink seems pretty solid this game. Maybe considers the mech as a possibility if he wants to group up more with his team, but that generally hasn't been Secret's playstyle. They're looking to farm the map and spread the wealth a lot more and just find pickoffs where they can, rather than take the 5v5 engagements.
Zai, only level 4, not getting too much space in this bottom lane, has 7 last hits, and now the wraparound begins. Moonbeam to get things started. Oh, the cask, it'll bounce into the creep wave. How unfortunate for Lil. Zai just moves into the trees, turns his back.
There's an Eclipse here.
And
he doesn't go for it, though.
Gonna try to TP home, but Zyori gets body blocked. Oh my, Kuro comes in with a stun as well. Is he trying to bait this out?
That was a 4-second TP because he TP'd to the T1 tower. That was a big mistake from Zai, but it didn't get punished. I mean, Polar don't really...
It was a bigger mistake from Lil. They were coming in with the Berserker's call to interrupt it, and Lil was in the way. Now he's going to get punished. He'll get brought down. That's another kill for S4.
I think Illidan could have tried to go close to the trees to get the Eclipse off to finish off the Bristleback down bottom lane, but wanted to make sure if he does that and there's a couple quills and Bristleback turns his back, maybe Illidan dies. So I don't blame him for playing it safe, but
ends up unfortunate for Asus.Polar.
S4 is getting out of control. He's massive.
Oh, Arteezy, he's going for the mech here. So that's Secret looking to get more aggressive. I think, especially S4 getting a start like this, he will go for the Orchid, it seems. Robe of the Magi already in the inventory, and with items like that, if they can bring those out 12, 13 minutes in, That's when Asus.Polar will not be looking for fights. Storm's looking for his basic kit. Luna has nothing but a Midas right now. Zyori gets jumped on. This is pre-blink, a perfect time to try and shut him down. Sonic Wave is there, and auto attacks to finish it off. They split, but the cask will still find one bounce. S4 doesn't have a blink for another few seconds, and he'll fall. It's G that comes in with a long-range zip to finish him off. Now Kuro on the run. He may make it out. FNG pops the darkness, but just not fast enough on those brown boots.
Yeah, the Trinkle's too. Lion gets a bit of movement speed burst and will get out. So G finds his first kill and first bit of involvement in the game. I like his play. He's mostly just farming the couple jungle camps he can, farming the mid lane, and will rotate only when he's kind of guaranteed a kill where his teammates basically baited out. So he sees the teammate get ganked out, and then he's like, okay, they overcommit for that. I can punish them with the ball lightning, as he just did. That's basically going to be G's play for the next kind of 5-10 minutes with his slow start.
Yeah, that is the right way to do it. Zai leeching to level 6 here in the bottom lane, just looking for his power treads. Still doing a rather good job making his presence known in the lane, and he's been pretty effective bait. That last series of kills that came about in the bottom lane all started because Zai was here and looking appealing, I guess. FNG, invisibility rune on. They're stalking him out, but it's daytime with no darkness. This will not be an easy kill. This is 3 heroes that are occupied
turn it to night.
down
You pop
here.
the Eclipse, and then suddenly it is nighttime, and they may be just that. There's your ulti. They're going to not even use the silence.
Okay, that's all you need. Eclipse for an easy kill.
I'll take that. Zai now, that's his second death, and he has not got much farm at all. He's only got a double stack at his Ancients as well, often where you see the Bristleback kind of catch up and finish off their treads, their VIP booster, and build towards the Vanguard, but he hasn't got much farm. But Puppy's kind of making up for that. He's level 7, has the Tranquil Soul Ring probably coming up very soon, or maybe it's going to be a medallion, but
yeah,
the rest of his team's making up for it.
Turning into a support Bristleback at this point with a core Puppy.
Ooh. Even Lion, Kuro with a lot more farm than Bristle.
Yeah. He's got a smoke as well. Tier 1 tower in the mid goes down. Arteezy will be the one to grab the last hit. He's killed both of the Tier 1 towers that Secret has picked up. The Shadow Fiend's farm still quite impressive, even besting that of S4. Illidan will just try to TP out. Definitely the right call here, as the big bad Arteezy comes walking his way through.
They give Zai the safe lane, and that's something where if you see Zai up top and you can bring a couple heroes to gank him, you know he's already behind. If you can keep him down, could go a long way to kind of hurting Secret in the mid game.
Now the mech is out on Shadow Fiend, so he gets bigger, and the team fight from Secret gets stronger. They will back off of Zai for now, and Arteezy, he just wants these towers. They'll pull the creep wave back with the board here.
Top
Nicely
lane.
played by Puppy.
It's nighttime. They're going in with the ball lightning. Zai will get pulled into a death ward, I believe, and yep, they want to keep on killing Zai. This is not a hero that offers anything without farm. He's got level 7 at least, but he's got only strength treads at 12 minutes in.
Yeah, no, this is a hero very momentum-based, and we see Bristleback usually get pretty high farm priority, and that's what makes that hero look so strong. But in situations like this, I think the best thing you can do is just try and team fight, get some of that assist gold, do what you can to linger nearby, and start that recovery. He's already gotten 3 Tier 1 towers worth of gold to help him out, and it still hasn't been enough. Arteezy getting the 3rd tower kill now in the bottom. Shadow Fiend is just massive. Blink Dagger, though, up on Zyori. This is usually what Asus.Polar are waiting for, and we'll see how they react.
Yeah, this is... It's the Axe... I mean, the one game he kind of struggled was when he was on that Centaur. The Axe again for Zyori. This is just 0-1 and 0, yet to get involved in anything, but that's going to quickly change, and this is not a very big... This is the smallest gold lead we've seen Secret have at 13 to 15 minutes in the game. Just the 2,000 gold lead because of how much Zai's been shut down. Yeah, S4 and Arteezy are farming and top of the net worth, but...
The smoke gets broken. Illidan with nowhere to go. They'll find him. Primal Roar deployed. S4 silenced, but they'll still get the kill. Shadow Fiend finds it with the Requiem. Cask bouncing around. Will hurt the Dire, but it's just not enough. 2 cores fall. Axe and Luna in the grave. Great smoke rotation from Secret, and maybe just a little bit lucky that Asus.Polar happened to be in that awkward position with Luna trying to farm this camp and having absolutely no exit plan.
They had no way to protect the Luna there. Once they get that initiation roar, as long as Secret aren't grouped up, the only way Polar could stand a chance is if they hit like a 3-4 hero call. Then Secret just weren't grouped up for that, so Secret will get a tower off. They didn't even have mana or need the mech from Arteezy. That was just a straight up easy couple of kills, an easy T2 tower. They can fall back and even consider Roshan at some point. That's another place where Zai can offer some help to his team despite how underfarmed he is, just by using the goo to help bring down the road.
I think they do want to prioritize some ancient stacks, though. That is another way this Bristol can recover to find at least a basic kit. I mean, he can go back and get items like Halberd, great utility there, even just an S and Y to start the recovery. Vanguard may be his first choice, though, just so that he can find a baseline of HP and damage mitigation. Could be an okay game for the Crimson Guard as well. A lot of right-clicking and physical damage to come out, and I think a worthy pickup if that's what he wants to go for. Does Crimson Guard work against Death Ward? It absolutely should. I'm almost positive it does, but don't see it very often.
I think it does.
Does it not? Is this one of the ones that is... There are a few exceptions.
It's a special exception, maybe.
Yeah, there are a few exceptions that are physical but still pierce through, and Death Ward is one I'm not sure about.
On my laptop, I have like this link save which like keeps track of all this stuff, but I don't know. I haven't memorized it.
I mean, that one's pretty obscure. Honestly, you don't really see it come. Even if you have a Crimson Guard on the other team against him, it's just not that often you see a Death Ward into a Crimson.
Arteezy looking to just tank straight up, picks up an ulti orb, so either Skadi or a Manta Star going to be his first time. Probably the Skadi since he didn't go for the value Yasha. Just wants the stats, the survivability.
Yep. Now Secret moving to the Roche Pit. We'll take a look at Radiant Vision here.
It is nighttime, but hey, they're not afraid here. They've got Hawks on the dire side, and they will see the movement in.
Exactly right. The Hawk is what tips the scales. Roche at about 50%. Asus.Polar do have some really good vision here. They see all of Secret. They've got a lot of wards down. They even put down a sentry to further their vision
really
control.
Good,
Roche getting very low, down below 10%. They'll initiate onto Puppey. Who's going to get the Aegis? It's the Shadow Fiend. Zai goes down first, but a huge sonic wave from S4. Arteezy may fall. No, he's still alive. It's a 1-for-1. A lot of Asus.Polar heroes trying to limp away. S4 in hot pursuit. We'll have another blink for FNG. And this Night Stalker may well fall. A few more auto attacks will do it. Can S4 find it?
Another blink.
There's your urn.
Okay, he's not going to get it. That's a bounty rune.
Okay. Night Stalker walks out. So 1-for-1. They only kill the Axe, but of course Secret get the Aegis of the Immortal.
Secret just set that fight up. The only chance Polar had to win that fight was if they just timed that ball in perfectly with Storm and steal the Aegis. But Secret were not giving Axe any potential for a multiple hero call. They split apart perfectly, and it was just good positioning around the pit, knowing that Polar would have to come up with a huge play to stand a chance of winning that fight.
And a little space creation there from the Night Stalker. Puppey as well as Zai trying to group up and sandwich him, but they can't get there in time. He will TP home and make it back to safety. Here's your Orchid out on S4. 16 minutes. A very standard timing here. Nothing crazy about it, but still very early on. You can get a lot of utility. Storm still decently far from the Bloodstone. They'll have that Soul Booster coming up around the corner, but not there quite yet. So still a lot of utility to be found. How's Luna's farm looking? Net worth decent, but
solid.
If you subtract at least part of the gold from that Hand of Midas, she's not nearly as farmed as the graph may have you believe. This is not the time when Luna really wants to fight.
Luna can farm and all that, but I just don't see Luna really scaling amazingly well the longer this game goes. You've got Shadow Fiend and Queen of Pain who outrange her and can just kite around with the Queen of Pain blink. The SF, who's just going to be going for this tanky build, can basically fight into the Eclipse even at a certain point. Once you get like Skadi with a Helm of the Dominator, you've got lifesteal, you've got the stats and the slow onto the Luna. I don't think Luna can ever really match up well.
S4 getting a bit aggressive here in the mid lane, puts the Orchid out, and okay, Storm will be alright. They don't have the damage to bring down Lil. He'll just TP home. They do deny the tower though, so still find a victory there despite the pretty big rotation. And Arteezy will go bottom to repel this push.
Still the Aegis in hand as well, so quite possibly Secret will be looking to group up as 5, something which has been more characteristic of Team Polar. But with the Ancient stack being farmed now, it seems Zai will maybe finish this off, and then they'll look to fight around the mech of Arteezy.
There is a Blink Dagger on Lion.
Ooh, very close.
Ooh. As he shows us there, he nearly finds the interrupt.
Found a nice little cubby.
This is a huge stack for Zai. What is this? At least a 4 stack, if not more. He will go back for drums. I like this play from Zai, just finding any kind of value item to give him some stats in the here and now to start that road to recovery. Very smart.
An item you only get when you're kind of in desperation state, which basically is this.
I say this qualifies as desperation state. Absolutely. We'll get close to 1,000 gold once he finishes off this big stack.
He's at least out farming his supports now. Before this Ancient stack, he had less farm than both the supports on his team.
Yeah.
He's finally taken over.
Will, that weak link now on the Radiant side. 1-1-4 has a decent KDA, but just no farm to go around. He's the one playing that position 5, and Night Stalker getting a little bit of farm, at least hasn't earned, but it just feels like this Night Stalker Luna has not gotten enough done. Like I said in the draft, it's very cute on paper, but once you get into the game, it just doesn't feel like it gives you enough of an edge.
it does look like going back to the draft that the Juggernaut may have been the more stable pick to run for Illidan, but it's easier to say that looking back and seeing how the Luna pick has worked out here. This offers so little as far as zoning, especially when you go for this Midas play. Top lane, they're going to try to find a pick from Puppey, but he's got TP support in the form of Zy's Bristleback. More TP is coming in, but Zy can't do anything to save Puppey, and
might be able to find a counter kill here on FNG. He'll try to TP home. Can anyone interrupt it? No. Of course, all the heroes that TP in are the ones without the interrupts.
It's just Lion, and that's where, I mean, SF wants to tank up, which is fine, but Lion's the only disable they've got when the Beastmaster Raw as well, but he was the one who got ganked.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so just a pick on the Beastmaster. Steps in the right direction for Asus.Polar. About a 7,500 gold lead. Somewhere about 1K experience. Yeah, we'll see Sadoy get jumped on here. Orchid comes out, a finger to boot. Soulburn will finish him off with the right clicks Dalt. And just as the Beastmaster fell up top, the axe falls in the mid. However, the Bloodstone coming out on G. Finally gets his first core item here just around the 20-minute mark.
G's just played very stable this game and this series as a whole. It's very different to some of the G we've seen in the past, where he's one of those players who can either make or break a game, but he's just been very consistent, stable, and hasn't made any of those kind of risky plays that sometimes have led to his team's downfall. This entire best of 5 has been really solid. Yeah, he just will expire, so Secret get a bit out of that more than anything, just deny it from Asus.Polar.
All the outer towers are down, so they got something done. They've only lost one of their own, the tier 1 in mid, and it was denied. That's a big part of why they have such a big lead right now.
And just used it to create space for Zy to catch up on his farm. Like, Arteezy would farm in these risky positions. He'd push down tier 2 towers with just S4 by his side, and then Zy's farming the Ancient Stacks, farming the jungle, farming the dire side of the map where there aren't any Asus.Polar heroes.
Right. S4, 2,600 gold. Maybe a BKB up next for him. He seems to prioritize the BKB pretty early on. I feel like all of the games we've seen in this series, both teams have needed BKBs on their cores, so it definitely makes sense. But this is another game that I think it's pretty worth it.
Seeing, even heroes like your Trolls and your your Trolls like get BKBs before their Skadis and stuff this series. Just going for the much more kind of safer and stable play. Puppey now 2.6k gold. I wonder if he's going for a Blink Dagger this game, or maybe considering the Necrobolt.
Yeah, those are the big two. I think the Aghanim Scepter you can pretty much take out of the equation, and it's the Necrobook. So good stuff here. Gives you that Zoo-type strategy where you just have a lot of units that you can kind of Zerg down towers with. And you get that utility in the Mana Burn. Pretty good against Storm. Most of these heroes, actually, the Mana Burn does make a big difference. So standard stuff, but good nonetheless. Now the BKB comes out on Luna. That's her first item after Midas. BKB. So now she can survive a little bit.
They got the burst for this. You betcha. No support inside, and that's your top net worth hero going down.
Yeah, they needed that. Luna gets the kill, no less. So that does help things get leveled out here. About 1,500 net worth trade there for Asus.Polar. And they will get this tier 1 tower. As a follow-up, it looks like Glyph won't even be used by Secret. They'll just let her go down.
Just not really reading the map. I guess he thought Polar were maybe farming, defending their high ground or somewhere on their side of the map.
Their wards are very aggressive right now. They've got one on the plateau, one in the middle of the jungle.
Should have maybe, that seems like a kill that could have potentially been avoided, but it's been a long 5-game series. These teams are going to be starting to feel some exhaustion at this point.
Yeah. It's getting there. That's one of the things about those best of 5 series is it also brings in that fatigue factor. Which team has more endurance and is more better trained for playing massive amounts of high-level Dota in one day.
Whichever team happens to lose this has another best of 5 awaiting them tomorrow.
Yeah, that's there's your lower bracket disadvantage right there. You get back-to-back long series. Zy very close to his BKB. These Ancient Stacks have just completely turned his game around. He's now nipping at the heels of this Storm Spirit in terms of raw net worth, behind by only about 1K. That's a little bit ridiculous if you really think about how well G did early on. He's 2-0-1, has by no means had a bad game, and how abysmal the start was for Zy.
This is actually BKB Dota. All 6 core heroes are working on a BKB. A lot of them have finished it, some a bit further away. Your Axe about halfway there, your SF only about halfway there, but I think both teams are going to be playing passively until they get their BKBs, and then even then it's going to be like, well, they have BKBs, we do, who has an advantage? Let's fight around Roshan, because that's what we do in the late game. That's what we're going to settle to. Both teams are going to control the Roshan and fight around their smokes as well, because Asus.Polar have the Axe, who's their big counter to the BKBs if you get a Blink Call, and Lion on the Secret side, if he gets a Blink Hex before you BKB, is the big initiator for Team Secret.
Yeah.
I guess you've got Roar as well, which goes through, but the physical damage needs to be there if you want to kill a BKB target.
Right, I was just sort of thinking about who has that BKB advantage. I think it is Asus.Polar. Death Ward and everything that Axe can do just gives you a little bit more control. Primal Roar is nice, but then, like you mentioned, you're stuck in that conundrum of how do you kill people? For Asus.Polar, well, they've got a Death Ward, they've got Bouncy Glaives, they've got some options. Smoke, though, from Secret.
And Roshan, they see it with the Hawk. I'm not sure if they'll go straight in or that they may look for the pick-off and then go into Roshan. Lil on the high ground. He scouts out one.
All right, Darkness is used. This is Radiant Vision we're looking at. They'll get jumped on here, and Sidoi, he'll go down quick. Sonic Wave even deployed to make it happen. Now your Eclipse, it gets in, or, well, it doesn't get interrupted. The Death Ward gets interrupted, but Asus.Polar just falling over, dropping like flies. Illidan, he just has to turn tail and try to run. BKB expires, TP won't happen. It's a 4-0, and Secret say, forget about Roche, let's go for the base. Yep. Only one buyback available of the 4 dead, and it's on the Axe. Helpful, but is that enough? Can him and G make this hold?
The S4 Orchid, what a classic. Every single game. He just gets these clutch Orchids off, always on Sidoi as well. Sidoi always the one that Polar are fighting around with his Blink initiations, be it a Centaur, an Axe, whatever it may be. The Batrider in the past, S4 with these Orchids has just been a game changer.
Now the Glyph comes out as they move into the tier 3 tower mid. Heroes starting to respawn, but Luna down for another 15. The bigger problem is they don't have their ultimates. No Death Ward, no Eclipse, no Darkness. It will be a free tier 3 tower for Secret after a very successful smoke. And we said they had aggressive wards before. Just check these babies out.
This is looking good. They can use this to keep track of the Polar movement around the map and try and take Roshan for themselves. They still have 2 smokes left. It feels like Secret just used multiple smokes in quick succession. They used none in the early game. That's something which can really give them a strong mid to late game, which they kind of lacked the last few games. They're getting these Roshans. They have smokes at their disposal. And meanwhile, Polar, they have a smoke, but they just can't get to Roshan time. They also, it's just too obvious. The Dire Vision with their deep wards and with Hawk, they see the entire map.
Yeah, they've got this like snake of wards through the Dire or the Radiant base and into their jungle. They just have nowhere that's safe. Now Aegis on Arteezy. He's got the Scotty and a full Yasha now. Probably Manta BKB, I think, coming.
Yeah. We'll see if it's like
but he's still tanking. That's the moral of the story here. And everyone else still finding some
Vlad's coming for Bristleback. Zai saying we want to end this game and end it now. It's actually flying out on the courier, but won't be here for this mid-Rax. But this mid-Rax has no Glyph. This may just go down uncontested.
Yep, FNG's around the backside. He's just now used the Darkness. Looking for the right angle to initiate. Long-range zip from G. Say goodnight to your mana pool. Doesn't find anything with it. Oh, he does have a regen.
Yeah,
okay,
but
that's good.
I mean, regen still is not like instant mana.
Yeah. All right, they get the mid lane of melee barracks. Range will stay standing for now. Looks like Secret are contemplating a wraparound to the bottom. You look at their vision, though, even with the Darkness active, they still have some decent vision, and say goodbye to it, because Sentry Wards come down, and they'll clear out at least one ward in the base.
There's your Vlads. They've got a big creep wave. Well, okay, just kidding. They've got a creep wave coming down the bottom lane.
Standard creep wave in the bottom lane.
They needed a creep wave, Zyori. I'm like, here we go, big creep wave.
I like the hype. That's good. They got a big creep wave coming in. Whoa! Big auto attacks from Arteezy. Watch out.
4 melee creeps in 2 range. They can't be dealt with.
Still no Glyph, though, and can this push be dealt with? That's the real question. No Darkness, but at least they have the Eclipse now as well as the Death Ward. Secret have all of their ultis available, just slow sieging. Look at this split, though. They're all spread about. No easy target. S4 BKBs right away as G zips in. Now say goodbye to your mana pool. He's forced to walk back to the well. That did very little to delay the push. Tower's down. If they want to hold barracks, they've got to go in soon. There's some creeps down. Illidan really doesn't want to ult here if he can get around it, but they have to do something. 2 lanes of barracks is absolutely crippling. Lil with the ultimate out. It brings down S4. Now Illidan presses out of the base. It'll do a lot with this Eclipse. Finds the kill on G. That's Arteezy that does. He'll go down. Zai, he may be weak, but he's strong enough to survive against 4. Requiem from Arteezy as he comes back up. Zai still alive. Made the space Arteezy needed. Now he's hurling snowballs. Illidan, he's slowed down. He'll try to limp back to the well. Slam dunk comes out onto the Bristleback, but still a pretty good fight for Secret. They'll try to mitigate their losses as they leave.
Back. They're going to get the hell out.
Oh, Kuro, he's going to be punished. The long range zip in.
He's out of mana.
No! Stick charges.
No okay.
Secret. Okay, they don't pursue. Wow. Okay, so it's a hold for Asus. They keep their barracks, but just barely.
A tier 3 tower. They lost their range racks mid. And this range rack's bottom is close to that. I guess you've still got the melee. It still feels like Secret in a really strong position. They may be slightly
I use air quotes when I say hold. They didn't have to use any buybacks. That's one really good thing for Asus.Polar there. They get a 2,400 net worth gain out of that. That's good news. Aegis of the Immortal is now expired, so they got through the hard part. But I would definitely argue that Secret did some pretty crippling damage there. Is now FNG having some sort of a connection issue. So what we're going to do is cut back to our pretty faces here. It's a big game, Parker, not accusing anyone of anything, but we're not going to give them the opportunity if they were so inclined. So,
Who knows where the wards are?
Hello, friends. Who knows? I don't know. Where are they? You're never going to know. So hopefully he can get back in here. This is a big game. This is not a time where we want to have to force a 5v4 resume, but oh boy. Hopefully it's just something. Hopefully a cat just tripped over the Ethernet cable and it's just a simple plug her back in.
Yeah, for Polar, the big scary thing this game is the comeback potential is just not as prominent as some of the other games they've won when they were down by last game with 15k gold. They haven't got. They've got a Luna who's good in the late game, but I feel against the SF, the Queen of Pain will be dealt with. You've got Raw to go through the BKB. Bristleback going to become a late game scary force. You've got BKB Vlad, so
chat's just nothing but wows. LD has infected the Twitch chat.
Oh man, that
wow,
the WoW creep wave.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the WoW.
The double range creep. Wow,
that's insane, dude. I don't know how they do it. I don't know where it comes from.
They held it. I mean, they didn't lose racks to it.
That's true.
Impressive stuff.
It's craziness. So Aghanim Scepter, who's got it on the way? Is that I thought I saw one.
Night Stalker has 500 gold short. Then you'll have it.
Just about has the point booster. That's nice. FNG will have some nighttime vision. What do you think about this nighttime vision strat? Obviously, vision is really important. We've talked about the Hawk. We've talked about Zeus. They're tried and true. But this Night Stalker Luna, like I said, we saw Cloud9 do it the other day, and I don't think it worked in that particular game either. It was a best-of-3 series, and I believe they lost that match. What do you think? Does it have merit? Is it a little too gimmicky? Is Luna just too weak in this meta?
I think it's a way to make Luna. It's like Luna suddenly becomes slightly more viable as a carry because you can see ganks coming your way when you can farm in more aggressive places during nighttime. So it's one way where Luna as a hero can maybe keep up in farm, but you compare it to like maybe a Juggernaut or something who can just do that whether it's day or night because he's got so many escape tools. He's so tanky with an SMY Skadi. You get a Manta style if you need to get out of the Orchid of S4. So I think as a whole, the Night Stalker makes Luna more viable as a pick. I think at the same time, Luna still has a lot of weaknesses.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. She's just, there's a reason she's not picked up a lot. You know, it's not her meta. But all right, we've got to resume. Looks like everything's good to go. FNG said, sorry, Dota 2 crashed, and then I had to do an update. So that was why we had to delay a little bit longer there. But not to worry, we're right back in it, and well, Secret's still in a pretty good spot here. Just to recap where we are, mid lane of Barracks down, tier 3 down in the bottom, and Barracks not looking so healthy. Luna finally starting to come online, though. Gets her first damage item in the Mantis style, but it has come at a grave cost, and that is the majority of their base.
If you can hold on to your base and get Luna up to like a Butterfly, Helm the Dominator, or ideally Butterfly Satanic, you open things up in this game, but at some point Arteezy's probably going to have a BKB with a Butterfly of his own, maybe some life still in there, so it's still going to be tough. FNG looks like he's going to sell his bottle to finish off his Ag Scepter. Such a kind of crucial pickup for him. But
okay. BKB out on Arteezy now, and also the Beastmaster Puppy, he gets his level 3 Necro Book. Another smoke from Secret. Here we go. They'll find them on the high ground, but Sadoy jumps in, initiates onto S4. Now G comes cruising in as well. Illidan on the high ground with a BKB. Oh, that's the end of G. Now Sadoy, he falls also. Asus.Polar in dire straits. 2 buybacks available on the 3 dead, but Luna stuck in the grave for the next 60 seconds.
Huge plays from Kuro, getting that immediate blink hex on G. They thought they had S4 with that blink call, but G got locked down, and this is bottom lane of Rax. There's a glyph up now. The melee Rax can be glyphed. I don't even know if it's probably not even worth glyphing this. It's dead regardless.
This could be the GG push here. Will they burn the buybacks? I feel like Asus.Polar have to. Maybe Storm can wait it out, but they've got to do something. This is your final fight. Tier 3 tower up top, taking pressure. They do have a glyph still. Axe will buy back also. They're just going to try to wait this out for the Luna. Her ultimate just now cooled down.
Team Secret will play things safe.
Back it up. Or will they? Sadoy, he catches one. Is this the right play, though? G goes zipping out real far. Death Ward's been deployed. G, he's now out of mana. He's going to try to TP out.
That's Impale.
Oh, mama. That was ambitious.
He's got a buyback here, but that's something Secret will jump to force out. They may be expecting him not to buy back because he wasn't using it, but once they find it coming into play, they'll just back off and play things safe.
Why did he do that? Okay, we'll hold that thought, though. Zyori jumps back in. This time they've got the Eclipse. Big damage out onto Secret. Shadow Fiend and Lion will be the first to go down. They'll lose their Axe, but well worth it. Now G jumps onto S4, and finally Asus.Polar make the hold that they needed, repelling Secret and getting a huge net worth gain out of it. They'll also track down Zy. The only one that lives is Puppey here on the Beastmaster. What a fight.
Ooh, okay. That's the one thing the Storm dying does. Like, if you die and your opponents don't think you have buyback, you can catch them by surprise. As soon as the Axe Blink calls, that's your cue for the buyback. You time it. Secret are already committed to fight, or at least to lose their Bristleback, and they don't...
So you think that was all part of the plan? Is that what you're telling me here?
I mean, it was the plan once G died, for sure. I mean, G was only out there because he had buyback. If he didn't have buyback, he wouldn't have been making such a risky play.
That's true. That's definitely true.
Yeah, that was a bit of a weird play from G, but the outcome was still okay and acceptable, but... Problem is, Secret are going to respawn. G's buyback's going to be on cooldown.
Yes, that's exactly where my brain just went. And now his item progression will be stymied.
Axe maybe he also has no buyback.
Maybe he can get a BKB off this. That was a dieback for the Axe also. So his BKB not happening anytime soon.
So Secret in the driver's seat. Bit of gold swing back the Polar way, but when you're down 2 lanes of racks and just stunted the growth of...
It just feels so minor at this point. Yeah, I mean, it could be another 5k gold that they've gained, but the fact that Axe doesn't have a BKB hurts that much more. I feel like that's a really big core item that, with Zyori dying there, evaporates, and maybe he'll be able to farm it up before this game ends. The Witch Doctor got quite a bit out of that. Lil will find an Aghanim Scepter. Always a big item pickup. Huge damage output there.
And someone's going to have to keep track of their disable. And for the most part, Lion Kuro has to sit really far back so he doesn't get caught out by the Storm, and then he's looking to always counter-initiate the Storm. So it's probably going to become more maybe S4's job with his Orchid to use that on the Witch Doctor. Means he can't use his Orchid at the start of the fight, but at the same time, Axe and Storm with BKBs, Luna with a BKB.
Where are you going to Orchid anyway? Exactly. Well, Axe has his coming on the way.
So with the... I guess it's still worth using Orchid on Axe until he has a BKB. We've seen multiple times S4 just win team fights because of that, but
maybe they just wait for next Roche.
Oh, that's the plan.
That's the plan. 100%.
They are in control. It's up to Polar to move out and make a play happen. At the same time, they don't want to do that with buybacks on cooldown, with the vision advantage going Secret's way. Even when it's nighttime, just having Hawks on your side gives a lot of map control.
Hey, Illidan's using Hoof and Paw, the Summit 2 mount from Stretch Goals. I like that. He's cute. He has really tiny back legs, but he's still cute. Secret. Oh, now they smoke.
They seem to always have smokes. What is this?
They just use them so well. There's also a double damage rune in the bottle of S4. This could be scary. Roshan just respawned. Asus.Polar, they're grouped up about their high ground. Now the stalemate around Roche begins.
Is this nighttime when the darkness wears off, do you know? Or we'll find out. If it becomes daytime...
No, it's daytime. You can see the little sun right beneath it.
This is worrying. This is really bad for Polar.
Yeah.
G may get caught out too. Oh, no.
Oh, they find him. Oh, he's definitely dead. Silenced, hexed. No buyback for you. Forget about Roche. I think Secret can just roll their way through now. S4, huge Sonic Wave connects on all 4 remaining members of the Radiant side. Brings down the Witch Doctor first. No Death Ward there. It'll be a last-ditch effort from Illidan Storm Range, but a clean 5-0. Secret doing it in style as they march to victory through that mid lane. Tier 4 towers fall, and the GG is called. Congratulations are in order to Team Secret. An intense 5-game series. Asus.Polar put up one hell of a fight, showing everyone that they are absolutely worthy of being contenders here in the winter bracket finals, but in the end, they just couldn't do it.
We'll be seeing Team Secret here in LA for some of the players the 3rd time. We've seen Puppey and Kuro here at both the Summit 1 and the Summit 2, and we'll see them for a 3rd time this coming May. It's a fantastic series, and definitely credit goes where it's due to Asus.Polar, who played an incredible best-of-5 series. Secret in the clutch, though, just... Yeah. This is the first game they mixed things up. They got forced out of their comfort zone. They played a much more 5-man oriented, objective-based lineup rather than the kind of split and farm the map. And they showed it's not just the one kind of playstyle they're going to use.
Yeah, admirable to see the way they changed their draft and tried to catch Secret off guard in Game 5. And that late game decision making from Asus.Polar is what really stood out to me throughout that series. I know you brought that up a few times, but just incredible. It seems like when it's all on the line, when the next play is going to either be their defeat or their victory, they tend to make the right call. FNG knows what he's doing, man. It's a good drafter.
They're going to be a tough opponent tomorrow in a best-of-5 series. Well, they're going up against Cloud9. That's our last matchup to decide who's going to be the second team.
And the winner of that will be moving on. I don't know who wins that one. I feel like all three of these top teams are pretty evenly matched. After seeing this series, I feel like Asus.Polar look a little bit stronger than Cloud9, but not by much. I give it like 55-45 odds, maybe something like that.
It's always going to come down to how like their playstyles match up. I feel Asus.Polar matched up really well against Secret.
That's true.
Against Cloud9, I don't know what Cloud9 are going to have prepared.
We'll see. Two very interesting playing and drafting styles. All I know, GoDz, is I should have taken Puppy over Zy in my fantasy pool because Zy he played amazing this series, but boy, he did not have sexy scores in any of those games at all. That's, get him next time, huh? That's it, though. That's it for us, man. It's one more series left for Summit 3 Europe Phase 2 presented by Gigabyte. Hopefully you'll join us tomorrow. I believe it's 17:30 CET, or CEST, rather, is the posted start time. So a whole nother best of 5. Who's casting that? Is it you and...
It's Dakota and GoDz.
Oh, okay. Sweet. So we're on America tomorrow. Should be fun. So take care, guys. We'll see you tomorrow for the final day of the Summit 3 Europe.
I was actually one of the first people